everyone. Welcome back to The Beauty Matters with me, Len Hossein, on ALB UK TV. Today, we are joined by the director of Mr. and Miss Supranational, Sayesh. Hello, Sayesh.
Hi.
Thanks for being with us today. And we have the winners. We have Miss Supranational England, and we have Mr. Supranational UK. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. And what's Miss and Mr. Supranational? Where the title came from?
Well, Miss and Mr. Supranational, I'll talk about Miss first. Miss Supranational UK competition is the UK edition of the international competition, which is Miss Supranational, which is like the third to fourth largest pageant in the entire world, wherein more than 88 delegates participate every year, and it has been happening for last 10 years. This is the 11th year that is going to happen in December this year in Poland. And Mr. Supranational has now, in fact, been voted as the best male pageant and one of the most innovative and extravagant pageants in the whole world. So we did the Miss and Mr. Supranational UK edition.
And we are joined today by Miss England, Supranational, Kirsty. Hello, Kirsty.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for being with us. Tell me about your experience with a new pageant.
Well, Miss Supranational England and Miss Supranational UK has been around for a few years now, but it hasn't been as big as Sayesh has put it out this year. When I first saw the Facebook post, I jumped in to apply. I've been following Miss Supranational for a couple of years now, and I was old enough to apply, so I was really excited.
It was your first pageant?
This is my second pageant.
Second pageant.
Yes, I competed in Miss Teen Galaxy UK last February, and obviously now I've aged out, so I can't compete there again. But you know, I've had a good experience in Miss Supranational UK so far, and winning the competition, so I'm pretty happy right now. Yeah.
And we have Mr. Supranational UK, Walter. Hello.
Hey.
Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Was it your first competition?
It was my first, you know. I was quite nervous, but I was excited, to be fair, because I've been doing something completely different. Now I'm a singer-songwriter, but I'm also a preacher. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to go into modeling, and I was doing a lot of photo shoots and stuff like that.
So you've been doing modeling before you've been involved in pageant?
Photo shoots, more so, but I'd never done a pageant before. This was like my first pageant. So I was quite privileged to be a part of it, and then to come out as a winner, that was amazing.
Yeah. And now you are going post to the international.
Yes.
As Sayesh told us, it will be in Poland.
Yes.
When it will be?
Miss competition is going to take place on 6th of December, and Mr. competition is going to take place on 7th of December.
Are you excited, guys?
I'm thrilled. I can't wait. I wish I could fast forward the day so I can just go.
What are you looking for the most, Kirsty, in the competition?
In the competition?
The final, international final.
Well, I look forward more to the journey before the actual finals. So our arrival date for the Miss competition is the 18th of November. So we're in Poland for 3 weeks as delegates, doing several activities that they'll assign to us when we get there.
Have you been to Poland before?
No, I haven't. So I'm really excited to go there and kind of just look at the country, especially Katowice, which is where we're going to be in, and just kind of exploring a new place, also meeting people from different places, different cultures, because, you know, I love learning about different people. I feel like it's really fascinating how where you were born and where you grew up can really change how you act. So that's what I'm looking forward most to.
And you look like you're going to meet lots of people, 88 countries being involved. And what about you, Walter? What you are looking for the most?
I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of people. I love meeting a lot of people and getting to learn about different cultures and stuff like that. And I think it's like you get to meet people from various countries in one place. So you don't necessarily have to travel to those places to get a taste of their culture. You get to get all of that there. So I'm quite thrilled about that. I think it's going to be quite exciting.
And Saish, are you joining them for
I will be
final?
joining them much later. Basically, they have a full itinerary planned, basically, with lots of activities and attending of the interviews and getting trained for the final day and attending the charities, and they have a lot of plan. So probably I will only be joining them during the national directors meet, and I'm very excited. I know my winners are going to be
The best.
internationally.
Yes, yes.
May the win, maybe bring the crown back home,
Take
the
it
trophy
back
back home. Yes, seriously.
That is the idea.
Yeah, as well with, as you said, having everyone from different countries in one place. When you meet, you meet so many people from different places, you can then plan what country you want to go and visit next, and you already have that security that you know someone from there.
Yeah.
So I think that's quite nice, because sometimes, especially if you want to travel by yourself, because not everyone has the time or the means to travel with you all the time. So if you do want to travel by yourself, it's a bit nerve-wracking, especially being a woman, to go to different places. So if you have a friend there that you've met before, a kind face, that's really helpful as well. So I'm really looking forward for that into the future.
We wish you all the best with it. I'm sure you will meet lots of nice people. Saish, you've been involved in pageants for around 4 to 5 years as a pageant
Yes.
coach.
Yes.
So how did you came about it?
Well, I used to have my own production. I'm going to take you a little bit back.
Yeah.
I used to have my own production house when I was in India, and I also trained a lot of delegates for Miss Universe in India, basically. And I trained a lot of aspiring actors to get into their jobs and, land up into their roles, basically. So I used to have it for 9 years. So when I came back into the UK, I also got approached by a lot of pageants to train the contestants there.
Yeah.
And thereafter, I've trained many delegates. I've sent them across to many international pageants like Mrs. International, Mrs. Earth, Mrs. Universe. I have recently trained a candidate for Miss World now. And so that's how I was always operating under the umbrella of Coach Saish. And that's when the supranational international team contacted me, and I applied for the national directorship.
Yeah.
And it just happened. I was very excited. I got it on board probably around last March. And since then, every day has been a journey, really.
And I know that's I know what pageant coach does, but maybe our audience don't. So can you tell us more about what type of training do you do?
Pageant coach, personally say, before that, I'd like to say pageant is personally like a bouquet, and you want all the flowers in the bouquet to look beautiful. So that's exactly what a pageant coach does. All the delegates that are interested into pageants or any public speaking platform or any public platform per se, or even individually, my job as a pageant coach is to identify the best parts in them and help them overcome or polish their shortcomings into becoming a better self of themselves, basically, so that whenever they go on any platform, they're fully equipped. So then I briefly touch them onto their personality analysis. We do a lot of SWOT analysis, and I teach them the basics of relaxation, which is very important as to know how to be very true to yourself, how not to be fake in terms of, when you're on the camera or you're on any international platform. And then I take them slowly into the kind of skin regime, the catwalk, the wardrobe, the styling.
So the
stage
full package
presence, full package, yes. Just to help them up, identify themselves, and help them develop the unique signature style that they can present. Because I believe as a contestant or anybody who's on the public platform, it is extremely important for that person to be very congruent with the image that they have, so that I might train somebody to be this and that, or I might help them hone up or enhance their skills, but if they do not represent it properly, that's not going to be a match. So what I do basically as a pageant coach is to help them identify the best parts about themselves and develop a true personality.
So you help them identify like the platforms. What about you, Kirsty? When you apply to Miss Supra National, have you been involved in like training for catwalk or for interviews? Did you have any training done?
Whilst in being a finalist for Miss Supranational UK, we've had some inductions and training that have been provided by Saish and his team with Grace Levy and a few...
Say hi. Grace was one of our guests.
lovely.
And yeah, she's lovely. Say hi to her.
Hi, Grace.
Hello.
Grace.
Yeah, and so I think when she did the pageant walk training here in London, and it was really helpful. Also, some of the days where I unfortunately couldn't attend, they also had styling, makeup, skincare, so it was really good because there was a basis for all contestants to go off from, which is helpful for anyone, whoever has been successful or unsuccessful. I think it's really helpful. And beforehand, before Miss Supranational, I did get some formal training for my previous pageant with the royalties, and basically kind of the same full package of styling, imaging, your platform, pageant walk, outfits, although I did compete in a team pageant, which is completely different from a Miss, and is different aspects of it that the judges are looking for, and it's different presence as well, because being a teen and being a Miss is you definitely present yourself differently.
Yeah. And I guess that's why then the coaching that we received from Saish and the team then became helpful.
Yeah.
Because then it was specific for what we're doing. So we didn't necessarily have to guess our way through it. There was clear and concise instructions and direction as to where to go and how to go about it.
And I think that's very interesting, because in different pageants, I know you need to go and prepare yourself and go to the final, but it sounds like you prepare them from A to Z before they be on the stage.
You know what, I'm so glad you said it, because that is how our pageant, Miss and Mr. Supranational UK, differentiates itself from the other pageant system in the UK, because, and the overall objective also of our team was to develop all the contestants who take part in it and train them into multiple facets like acting, modeling, photo shoots, how to pose in front of the camera, how to speak on the camera, the kind of we had a professional psychotherapist on board who trained them how not to procrastinate. We had an image consultant on board who trained them as to what are the basic formalities that you need to know when you're on the public platform, or any about yourself as well. We had a celebrity vocal coach, Christopher, who trained them into what kind of voice modulation you should have, the kind of voice projection which is required. And we had self-defense coach, which was completely different. None of the...
Really
I
fun.
love that.
That
was fun.
Yeah, and
Self-defense, so you will be
Absolutely.
safe, girls, after.
so now I'm not worried if they go to Poland. They know how to defend themselves. So this is one of the basic training we gave, which differentiates us from others, with just an overall objective saying that, you know, when these winners, when my winners go abroad, they don't feel less confident than any of the other candidates there, because they have got the formal training and they have learned it by the book, what it requires to win, basically. So this is how we are different from the other pageants.
It's amazing that a full team is behind you. How do you feel about it? That's you got all the support required. Do you feel is there anything more you can ask for?
Oh, sorry.
No.
That's not a question. I'm sure. I know the two things that they would ask probably. Let's hope they don't ask it.
No, currently, I'm actually really happy with the training that we've had as finalists, because obviously as competing in other pageants and having friends competing in different pageants within the UK, you definitely do not get anything like that, not that I know of anyway. And I feel that what you've taught us is specific for Miss Supranational, because each pageant looks for a different girl. They're different systems, they have different values, and they have different things that are important to them. So when having the training with Saish and giving us all the little workshops and training sessions is kind of, I've noted it all down, and I know that's what Miss Supranational is looking for. And I think you're just going to have to take what you get, really, and apply it to yourself.
What about you, Wolf?
For me, I think that the training that we got was quite extensive, because I mean, tracking it back, you're looking at Walter, the preacher, okay, who's never been on a pageant before. But after the training, emerges as a winner from no experience before, but still being able to go on the platform, having been taught how to be and excel and win. I think that's a testament to Saisha and the team as it regards to, as it pertains to the training that they gave us. So I think I'm happy.
And I'm glad.
He's scared.
So it went
He's like,
well.
"Ooh."
The question went well.
Hey, I was like, "Ooh, that could have gone south."
Yeah, as well. When people think that you have to have the most experience or the most backing up with big companies behind you to win such a large competition, I think it's quite simple. You know, there are certain steps. It's not a formula per se, but there are certain steps and things that you can perfect and improve that will help you get close to winning the title or including winning it as well. It's just depending on the person. You really have to take in that information and apply it properly, because you may think that you're improving yourself when you really still have flaws that you're not really realizing. And it is definitely a journey. With competing in my first pageant, I was unsuccessful, and from that I took everything that I could improve myself on. So that's everything: makeup, hair, my walk, my styling, my image, my platform, absolutely everything. I've looked through everything I can improve on, and also with help with the training, I can kind of refine what I need to focus on. And once you know exactly what you need to do to improve yourself in every aspect, you are in a really high position to get the title.
And the coaches were very direct, if you will. They were very direct in our trainings. If there were places that you needed to improve, they will let you know that you might think you're doing it right. You might think you're smiling, for example, and you're really not. You know, you really need to give it more. And it's literally then comes down to you taking it and then implementing what you've been taught. So I say the training was awesome.
I think you guys been lucky, because I interviewed other winners from different pageants, and when I ask about like how do you see pageants evolving or changing now, they all, or why you don't see it in the international as big, like for example why we don't have a winner from UK. She said it's because I do everything myself. Like people try with me, national director do their best. But in comparison to different countries, people get preparation like for years and years.
Yeah.
And they have a big team behind you. And you are trying to do the same now. You are having the full team.
Absolutely. We're trying very closely to follow the international format. And what Kirsty also said is, like, I'm glad you brought that point up, because we are trying to, when I received a definition of the winner that they are expecting, I was so happy, because it's not, what I understood is like it's not only about the outer aspect of the beauty. What they were really looking forward to as the individual identity, the natural grace in a person, how humble and modest is the person, how open to learning is the person, and the kind of connection that all these delegates will set up with everybody, because we are not really looking forward to creating a queen or a king or something. I really have mentioned them earlier and now again on camera, mentioning that we are really wanting to create some role models. Because as I mentioned it to you earlier, we have Mental Health Foundation UK as one of our charity partners.
So it is your charity, just to make it clear, it is the charity you support as a pageant.
It's the official charity partner of pageant, and all the contestants supported. In fact, during the journey of the pageant, many of our contestants did their own bit to create a lot of awareness about what are the current situation about mental health, and they created campaigns. They did a lot of workshops because all the patients of, I wouldn't call it patients, but all the people who suffer, maybe even I suffer from mental health. It's very important for somebody to render that support and to talk more about it, so that the gravity reduces a little bit eventually.
To recognize it's okay to say,
I'm struggling.
That's exactly, sorry.
I'm sorry, and to add on to that, one of my biggest platforms that I've extensively talked about as a finalist as well is how I've overcome my struggles basically through empathy. I think empathy is really important, and I used to struggle a lot when I was younger, just I don't know, I was just thinking negatively. I didn't really see much point of the world, and I was just in a small, dark little bubble. And until someone was there to be, oh, I get you, I'm listening to you, that was when I kind of opened up a bit. And that's when my journey to recovering and becoming more confident and the person I am today. So when I had the opportunity to be in Miss Supranational, and when I found out that we were supporting a mental health charity, I thought it was really important to just spread the message of be there for each other, empathy, just listen to other people and let others know that they can talk and that we're listening to them as well, because that can really help someone talk through what they're feeling and even maybe find a way to not improve on what they're feeling, but to refine the thought process, really see where the issue is coming from. Is it from an experience, or is it something chemical in your brain? Do I need to see a doctor? And just opening the conversation, because it's just worse if we isolate people.
Yeah. And what about you, Walter?
I keep throwing this, and I'm going to try not to preach at you because that's what I do. It's something that I've been talking to my church about, the people in my church, because that's a platform that I have as a preacher, about that. It's okay to not be okay sometimes, and it's okay for you to accept that you're not okay, because if you can acknowledge where you are, then you can make steps to go to where you need to get to, if you will. But if you can acknowledge or identify where you are, what the problem is, I always say that if you don't deal with the root, you always have the fruit. That's what I always say. So it's okay to not be okay. And for you, it's okay to talk to somebody. And for the person listening, it's okay to listen. Sometimes people don't want you to talk at them. They don't want you to preach at them. They just want you to listen and to feel your presence, to know that I'm not alone. Somebody's taking time to listen to me. You know, that alone makes a world of a difference to somebody's life. So that's what I've just been telling people, that, you know what, if people come to you, be slow to speak and quick to listen. And if you can identify where the issue is coming, then maybe walk them through it. If they can't do it, if they could do it themselves, they would have, you know. But if you can hold their hand and walk them through the process, then you're doing a service to them.
100%. And to add for what you're saying, everybody has a different journey, and telling them what to do isn't necessarily going to help them. It's just going to isolate them further and push them back in where they were at the beginning. So I think it's a really good point that you said, kind of guide them through it, just to be there for them. And
so is it part of what you will be doing as the winners? Is that what the winner will be doing?
Yes.
Like, is it in a way of events, or how they will be approaching it?
We actually, I mean, I don't want to guide them as to how to go about it. And whichever and whatever smaller, like you just heard them, they are already the role models, basically. He has a story, she has a story, and how they have come up in their own lives, basically. So whatever small capacity that they would say and do after winning this title is going to have multiple impact on the society.
And are you thinking to do something together?
Oh, 100%.
We were just talking about that before. Like we need to do something together. Definitely enjoy forces. I think that there's power in numbers.
Yeah, definitely. Like, one of my favorite quotes from Helen Keller is, "Together we do so little. Alone we do so little, but together we can do so much." I think it's important that although by myself I can post on my Instagram and talk about my experiences and everything, I feel like getting everyone to post on their Instagrams and post on their experiences can really make a great impact on our message.
You know, when we had this as official charity on board, I have had personal messages from so many people on my social media thanking that, they were so glad that we had this platform to support, because I think it is right now very much prevalent into the society and somebody needs to target it. We are doing our small bit, and we're trying to encourage others to support it.
I think recently it started, people start to raise awareness on mental health. People, especially pageants, I can see them posting photos with no makeup or saying we are not perfect. So they are trying to help in as you said, in small steps here and there.
We had such a diverse portfolio of candidates this year in the pageant. Basically, we had several candidates, but we had to, adhere to certain criterion. But even through the contestants, we had so much diversity. In fact, we also had arranged a special diversity coaching for all of them because,
That's interesting. What do
it
they do?
diversity coaching, as in when all of my winners and other candidates from other countries will come, they are talking about 80 different nationalities together.
Yeah, languages.
And how not to get yourself evaluated or judged, or how not to label others or judge others based on your preconceived notions.
Prejudice,
That is the session that we took through, and how to treat everybody equal. Focus on your own objective, why you are there, and why, and how can you lead by example. So that is one of the sessions we took. And also when you said that we are trying to break the prototype of a beauty pageant. Right?
Yeah, so it's not only beauty,
Yes.
pretty face, it's more
Yes.
than that.
Yeah, it's definitely more than just the outer aspect of the beauty, because beauty is so much, and it's also as to how you see. That's why you see nowadays in the pageants that conventional training, or the most prototyped training, is not encouraged. Because you don't have to sit in a particular way, you don't have to walk just like that or like that.
Yeah.
But we are trying, that's exactly what me at Coach Saish, my training platform, we do that. We try to help them, develop their unique style and how to leverage that to be a winner in any aspect.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say is even from the background that I come from, like I said, from the church, like I've got my Instagram minister model, and everybody keeps asking me, why, how did you get minister model? I say, oh, because I'm a minister and I am a model. And a lot of people from the church, I see that their view is starting to change as it pertains to pageants, because they thought it was very plastic, if you will. It was just about looks and stuff like that, and there was no content to the competitions and stuff like that. It was just like who looks good and who can flex and stuff like that. But they're coming to actually learn that there's actually more about pageants. It's about a platform. It's about making a difference. It's about having a vision. What are your plans? If you become a role model, what message are you going to speak to the people who are looking up to you? So I see that the definition of pageants is really beginning to shift, even from where I come from.
Yeah, it's becoming to change now.
which is really good.
And what more importantly I wanted to say is, like, you can talk not only to our winners, but you can approach any of our contestants in the competition. Nobody has a grievance, basically, because they all will thank each other and the organization for having a beautiful experience throughout the journey. And all my delegates really performed so well in the competition. They all brought in their own stories. They all had something unique in them, and I couldn't be proud enough of all of them, basically.
So you wanted to say something?
Well, basically that pageants, I think pageants is the most important bit isn't the end result, but definitely the journey.
Yeah, you will learn out of it.
You learn so much about yourself, especially with the training, you learn every small aspect of you, what you like, what exactly your experience, what are you passionate about, what is your style, what do you want to portray to others. You learn so much about yourself in that aspect, where at the end, even if you don't win and you're not successful, you can look back from the beginning and think to yourself, wow, I know myself so much more, and that makes you more confident as a person and more happy within your skin and your body.
Yeah.
So you think it gave you a chance to show your personality? It's not about putting a show on there. If you had a chance to add something to the competition, like like a naked face without makeup round, or a talent round, what you will add? I will ask them now. Your winners.
Well,
what you will add?
We had a talent show. We had a talent show round. I played the piano and I sing. So I sang. So if I was to do something, that's what I did, and I did it on the night as well.
Yeah, that was really.
I kind of snuck it in there.
And what about you, Kirsty?
Well, obviously the talent show was a really good idea. I did some of my painting, and it really took me out my comfort. It took me out my comfort zone because we only had a minute and a half, and my paintings take plus 5 hours,
Yeah.
5 to 10 hours each. So I really had to look for a different method and different way to tackling around, and I think it was quite successful.
It was amazing.
She
It was
created a beautiful
amazing.
piece of
She's
art.
talented. She showed us some pictures before we start. And you are trying to improve it as well, like by
Yes,
going
definitely.
to academies and classes.
And now I'm at university doing my Bachelor's of Arts in Fine Art.
All right,
So that's really
nice.
exciting, and in the future looking to maybe do a Master's, but that's obviously quite ahead, and we will see then. To add another round, if I was going to add another round to Miss Supranational UK, I feel it will be like I don't know if like an eco dress round or like a dress that you make yourself. So you
Say like a creativity.
yeah, something
I
creative.
will definitely take that on board.
I'm
So
glad that
maybe-
I'm not having to do that.
So maybe like getting like recycled materials, or maybe like pieces you get from like charity shop, and try and make like a really cool funky outfit, and you can sew on it, add embroidery, whatever you want, but obviously each of the contestants do it themselves. I think that'd be very fun. It can show their skill, creativity, how they can tackle a problem.
I
So,
think
yeah.
you mentioned recycling material, and that's really important because London Fashion Week this year, they only been using fabric that can be recycled. It's because the thing like fashion is harming the environment by producing like fabrics which can be recycled.
Sure.
And we did a global
We actually did a photo
climate.
shoot, like, which is again separates us or distinguishes us from the other pageants that you're bringing that up. Because we did a photo shoot which was themed as climate control. So wherein all the participants were encouraged to come up with a message for how to do a climate control, what is important in order to avoid further deterioration of climate. And they also created a story by using the recycled or the plastic or the kind of factors that are, or biodiversity and all the factors that are causing climate to go bad, basically. So they came up with their own concept, and we did a different themed, like an editorial photo shoot for all the contestants, unlike just having a beauty shot done. So that also
It's
distinguishes
amazing.
us.
It's have a message behind it at the end.
Definitely.
I think it was quite a fun challenge as well, because the contestants got told to basically look for a cause, a message, a strong message behind it that you want to tell to anyone, and also ways to improve what your message and what you're trying to say, and also have a picture and makeup
that
and an outfit
communicates
that communicates
your message.
Exactly.
That was interesting.
Yeah, so
It's a good
That
word.
was-
to use.
but I think it was a great challenge. It kind of puts you in the designer's mind, the director's mind, and because when you're modeling, you don't really think that much of what the photographer and the director and what everyone else is thinking. But if you kind of put yourself in there, I think it makes you a better model, because you know what you're modeling,
Yeah.
for, what you're trying to project. So I love that challenge as well. I think it was one of my favorites.
That's thumbs up.
So, as a male pageant winner, do you think that will open doors for you in the future? What do you think it will help you in your future?
I believe so. I came into this for a different platform, or rather to extend my platform. Like I said, that I do a lot of preaching, and I've traveled around the world doing that. But that has been literally been just in the four corners of the church. But I figured that what I have to say goes beyond the four walls of the church. Like the message that I have goes. It's universal. It's not for Muslims. It's not for Christians. It's universal. So I figured, this will be a beautiful platform to utilize to get that message across. And I'm seeing that it's already doing that. And I'm seeing a lot of people coming to me, a lot of people taking an interest in the pageant world and stuff like that. And a lot of people really aspiring, to do what I have done by reason of I've become an example to them. That this thing can be done and stuff like that, and it's opening a few doors, because I'm starting to get calls here, emails here from different people and high-ranking peoples and stuff like that, wanting to sit down with me, to talk to me, to get me involved in their visions and in what they're trying to achieve and stuff like that. So I'm very grateful for this platform.
And what about you, Kirsty?
Well, obviously, I didn't really have much of a platform beforehand, and especially with wanting to become a painter, I really wanted to broaden my name out worldwide and here in the UK. So that was a really big part of winning this pageant. So I'm really happy for that. As well, now that I've won this title, I'm really passionate to make the pageant scene in the UK more relevant.
Yeah.
A lot of different countries around the world they're really showcased, and they really invest a lot of time, money on pageants.
Yeah.
And I feel like in the UK it's a little bit more like
Still behind.
A bit behind, a bit underground. So I really want to be that voice, be the role model, be that person that kind of puts it out there. And I'm already doing that with my hockey club, and in school. People didn't really know much about pageants except some Netflix movies. Like, it's just completely the opposite.
Yeah, it doesn't show that.
As much as it's really
reality.
funny to watch someone who's not really in the industry or in this world, they think that's what actually happens. And me just being a presence, being there, and for people every day to just kind of promote that this is a good thing. I think it's a really good platform. I'm not sure about the guys, but definitely for girls and younger girls to kind of build up their confidence and kind of become a better versions of themselves.
And Sayesh, as a national director, why do you think UK is still a bit behind in terms of like international competitions?
Well, that's pretty much on the spot. No, but I wouldn't say that UK is behind any of the pageant standards as far as other pageants are concerned with other countries. But I would definitely say that we have been following a pattern, and there's already a set system in the UK as to how a pageant should be done.
How it can be changed? And
It is already beginning to change, and I have already taken the first step. And every other pageant, if you see, my emphasis would be onto, coaching. I really want to change the mindset as to, beauty pageant is not only about looking good and feeling good on that day. What I really want to encourage is to, put an emphasis onto the coaching part, so that, I want to tell to the world where it's already been implemented. If you go to India, Philippines, if you go any other US, they have invested heavily into coaching part of the pageants, because it's not only about a girl or a guy, looking good and, performing their best on the day. Yeah. It's about how they can enhance their skill sets, not only for the pageants, but also any particular situation that happens in the life. So my emphasis would be to definitely concentrate onto the coaching aspect. That will change the entire systems in the UK or anywhere else in the world.
Sayesh, if someone wants to get in touch for pageant coaching, how they can contact you?
Well, they can get in touch with me on my website, that is www.coachsayesh.com, or they can send me a message anywhere on social media. I'm present on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. They can get in touch with me anything for not only pageant coaching, but any of the other coachings that I've mentioned on the website.
Well, guys, I can't speak with you for hours. I would like to thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
And for you, my lovely viewers, stay with us with Beauty Matters on ALB UK TV.